tonight's Justice Files. Joining me now are MSNBC's legal analyst Faith Jenkins and retired ATF agent Jim Kavanaugh. Let's get right to our top story. The Justice Department announced today it will investigate the deadly police shooting of a man who was carrying a pellet gun at a Walmart in Ohio. This move comes just hours after a grand jury refused to indict the officer who shot John Crawford.
They decided that the police officers, and the police officer in particular that fired the shots, was justified in doing what he did.
Today, the prosecutor finally released surveillance video from inside the Walmart. It shows Crawford walking over to an aisle and picking up a pellet gun from a shelf. He then continues to walk through the store carrying the gun, talking on the phone. The next part of the video shows the shooting. I have to warn you, it's disturbing. Crawford is standing in an aisle, apparently looking at a store display. You can see him swinging the pellet gun by his side. He turns immediately, falls as he is shot twice by a police officer. There's no sound on the tape, but police say they told him to drop his weapon at least twice. Faith, in light of this surveillance footage, what do you think about today's grand jury decision and the Justice Department investigation?
Well, this is another case where an innocent, unarmed person has been killed, and another case where the police have not upheld their duty to protect and serve. But I will tell you, I am not that surprised by the grand jury's decision, Rev, because it is really hard to prosecute police officers for the use of force in cases like this. The system is designed to protect them, and people out in the community, they understand that officers make split-second life or death decisions in a split second, and so they give them the benefit of the doubt. And here, when you have testimony that came in that from a caller, a 911 caller, that John Crawford wasn't just walking around, that he was menacing people with a gun, and so the officers responded with that in mind. Now, we know that information was erroneous. We know that information wasn't true, but still, that's what the officers, that's how they responded with that in mind.
You're dealing in an open carry state.
That's exactly right.
Around carrying a gun.
And that's exactly right, Rev. So even if he was carrying the gun, what he was doing, it was illegal. In addition, the store in which he was in sells that BB gun. So he's walking around with a BB gun in a store that sells them. However, the caller, 911 caller, apparently told the police that he was menacing people. That is illegal. That is against the law. That he was pointing the gun at children.
Let me bring in Jim Kavanaugh. The caller says, here's what one shop at Walmart described what he saw to reporters. Watch this.
Called the police, waving at people, waving at little children, waving the gun, and he was pointing the gun at people and everything. Once the police got there, they told him, they came around the corner, said put it down. They said it 2 times, and then the gentleman decided to swing the rifle to the officer pointing at them. That's when the officer shot him twice.
Now, waving the gun, pointing it at people, but now it turns out he's recanting what he said, this guy we just played. A month later, he says Crawford didn't turn the weapon on anybody. Quote, at no point did he shoulder the rifle and point it at anyone. Could the change in the man's story affect the Justice Department's investigation? Because clearly on the video, he's not pointing a gun at officers or anyone else, Jim.
Right, Reverend Al. Well, the video, the critical part of the video is 8 seconds, from 50 seconds to about 58 seconds. And it totally dispels that witness's statement that the gun was pointed toward the officer. If you watch the video very closely between 50 and 58 seconds, you'll notice that Mr. Crawford has the gun pointed at the floor at 50 seconds. At 51 seconds, he's reacting to the officer, probably shot in the arm, or at least reacting to his order to put it down. Within just a couple of seconds, 53 seconds, he's down on the ground, and so is the gun. The gun never even crosses the plane of Mr. Crawford's body to his left side. It goes right to the floor. So there was no pointing of the gun at the officer, which, you know, justified use of deadly force requires an imminent threat of death. It's not just holding a rifle. Police arrest people holding rifles and pistols all the time. I've done it many times. You don't just shoot a person for holding a firearm. Now, I would give the police the benefit of the doubt here, and I know Faith understands what I'm saying, that they may not know it's a BB gun. So if the gun was pointed at the officers, then, you know, they would be justified to use deadly force, even if it wasn't really a rifle.
But it clearly, Faith, was not pointed at them. The video says that, and the guy that was saying they were menacing has recanted and said that.
Right, and that's why it's such a significant problem, because when you're talking about that imminent use of force, it has to be that. It has to be imminent. But again, you know, and I think that this caller who made the 911 call, the police really have to look at him closely, because when you call and you tell the police that someone has a gun, they didn't know, presumably, that it was a BB gun, and that they are pointing it, waving it at children and other people, then perhaps the officers, the grand jurors, I'm sure, gave them the benefit of the doubt, and that, okay, these officers think they're responding to a deadly situation.
I'm going to have to leave it there. We'll see how the federal government and the Justice Department goes through these facts. Faith Jenkins and Jim Kavanaugh will be watching this. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thanks, Brett.